I am being joined by the Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy, Faith Nwadishi, to discuss more on the compressed natural gas as an alternative to fuel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, Nigerians.
So I caught your face at that briefing by CSOs. You were there, and I just want to get your thought on why you're putting so much pressure on the federal government at this time to facilitate the use of CNG as an alternative to fuel.
Okay, since the announcement of the removal of subsidy, we all have seen the impact that has on every Nigerian, cut across sector, cut across class and status. And there has been this advice that we should actually look at the use of CNG. Nigeria is more of a gas country than even crude. So, and the fact that we are not utilizing our gas, we have had several MOUs with several countries. You know about the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline. You know about the Nigerian-West Africa gas pipeline. That's because we have gas in Nigeria. So we need to begin to utilize that gas to run our vehicles, support energy supply and all of those things so that it is easier. Right now, we are buying fuel at 617 naira per liter, and that's really, really biting hard on people. Transportation is difficult. From that meeting that we had yesterday, we had stories about even within Abuja, mothers can no longer pay for their children to go to school because transportation cost has gone up. Where they used to pay 500 naira before for a child to go to school, they no longer can afford it because it's going between 1,000 and 1,500 for a child to go to school. We're not also looking at the hike in school fees. So by the time we use CNG, it will bring down the cost of transportation. It will bring down our energy costs. It will be more accessible. And I was quite happy to hear Ipman was at that meeting yesterday, and they provided solution that they were going to now, within their filling stations, put in CNG pumps in their filling station. But the challenge is that we will need young people to have more skills on how to convert vehicles to use the CNG. That is the challenge that we have now. So in looking at the long term, the midterm, what we said was that the federal government should provide skills for young people so that they are able to seamlessly do the conversion.
And I want to get to that conversion part, because you said it was going to make transportation easier and cheaper, but we know that transportation in Nigeria is largely commercial, which means that a lot of people go by public transportation. And conversion is not cheap. I had a conversation where someone was saying that, look, it's hundreds of thousands of naira to convert your car to CNG. So I can just looking at the economics of it for a commercial driver. For example, the popular Lagos Danfo driver wanted to convert his car to CNG, and that will cost him hundreds of thousands of naira. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand how he would want to do that. So what should be the incentive?
So the incentive is that government can actually look at subsidizing the conversion of vehicles to CNG, because that cost is a one-off cost. It is just that cost, just like when you talk about renewable energy, putting solar systems in your homes, and people are looking at the one-off cost. If the long term, you find out that the long term is beneficial to the commercial driver and the people who use that. The reason why transport costs have skyrocketed right now is because people are buying fuel at least 617 naira per liter. But by the time you convert your vehicle to CNG and you're buying about 100 naira, between 100 and 120 naira per liter, what it will do automatically is that it will bring down the cost of transportation. It will bring down the cost of food prices in the market, because all of these are directly related. As soon as there's hike in fuel price, the transporter hikes his price, the person that is selling at the market hikes their prices, and every other service skyrockets. Though people say that anything that has gone up in Nigeria never comes down, the fact is that over time, when we now get used to the use of CNG and understand that, one, it gives us a better environment, it even keeps our cars better. You don't have to keep going to the mechanic every time, because the CNG is more like clean energy and it helps to protect your vehicle. So it is the incentive is that you have, it's a win-win. It is just that initial cost of conversion which government can subsidize to enable people be able to get that. And you know, the beautiful part about that is that even in the planning for government, if government makes, like for instance, those places where they're just like we are doing with the job for younger people, encourage young people to go into that business. A lot of the cars, more than 99.9% of the cars in Nigeria is still running on fossil fuel.
Well,
so imagine creating jobs for people.
We know
to
that
do
conversation, we know that conversation is on the table between the organized labor and the federal government, and there have been several meetings in that regard. So we'll see how the federal government responds to this. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm sure we'll have more of this conversation with you. Faith Nwadishi, Executive Director, Center for Transparency Advocacy.